It's your first Christmas together, and maybe you're realizing that there are a lot of precious moments to capture, from trimming your first tree to signing your first Christmas cards as newlyweds. But where do you even start? Do you go digital or traditional? Do you include a Bible verse or keep it simple? And what about all those tiny details of mailing etiquette that no one really talks about? Today, we're breaking down 3 simple steps to help you design meaningful Christmas cards as newlyweds that reflect your faith, your marriage, and your heart for sharing this holiday with others. Plus, a few basics of why etiquette is so important when you're sending your Christmas cards out. Hey, wives, I see you. I know the pressure you're carrying, the pressure to be the perfect wife, the devoted mother, the woman who keeps it all together. You're told to be soft, feminine, and gentle, yet also strong, capable, and a provider. The world pulls you in 100 directions, stretching you thin, leaving you exhausted, and wondering if you're enough. But I need you to hear this. God has more for you. More for your marriage, more for your motherhood, more for the legacy you are building. You are not meant to do this on your own strength. So press in, do the work, and trust that something greater is coming. Welcome back, and if you guys want to create intentional holiday traditions that strengthen your marriage, you want to maybe even talk through those with other people, see what they're doing, and just really have a community of people supporting you that are also Christian wives, that are also trying to do things in the most biblical way that they can, then come join our Facebook group. There you can find other couples who are walking through the same season, learning how to communicate better, stay connected, and keep Christ at the center of every celebration. So come join us over there. It's not just for newlyweds, but it is a fun space to connect with other couples who are just on the same journey as you and wanting to honor God in their marriage. Okay, as we walk into this episode, I just want to start with kind of a question to get you thinking, and that is, what would it look like for your Christmas cards to do more than share a pretty photo, but to actually reflect what God is doing in your marriage this season? And beyond that, even to turn it into a moment of connection for you and your husband as well. So, first, before we dive into the 3 steps I have for you, I want to say that I don't want this to be another pressure for you, because I know, like, when I first got married, if I would have saw this episode, I would have been intrigued. I would have clicked on it. I would have listened to it, and then I would have felt like, oh man, now I have to send Christmas cards. Like, I just have to. I didn't realize it was a thing I had to do, but I guess it is. And I probably would have stressed myself out about it, stressed my husband out about it, and I probably would have made the whole thing miserable for both of us, because we weren't at a season where like that was going to be realistic for us. We didn't have a lot of time, energy, and resources to pour into Christmas cards at that point. And I don't even think we had people's addresses. Like, we were not prepared for that. So if that's where you are and you're like, I do not feel prepared for that this year, then I just want you to know that, like, this is not to pressure you or to say that you have to do this or you're like missing out on some major thing. This is for people who are already planning to do this and this is what they want. And they're like, yes, I can pour into this right now. So if that is you, then I'm excited to get into this episode with you. And if that's not you, then don't feel like you need to click off. You can still just listen through and maybe you implement this in the future. I think that's the important thing for everyone to remember and take away from this episode, regardless of what season you're in right now, is that it is not all or nothing. And this is not some end all be all. It's not like your first Christmas is like the only time you have to make special memories. You're going to have so many more Christmases, and you just learn from everyone. And I think a lot of times we just have to remember that, like, Satan, he is very likely to try and come in and ruin these precious moments where it feels like we're putting all this pressure on it. We're so excited for it. We want to make it perfect, or we want to make it just wonderful and magical for everyone. And then he sees that as like this moment to attack us, to put thoughts into our mind, to get us worked up or get us discouraged. And so I just want you to be aware of that as you go into this season, as you begin preparing for this season, and know that it's not as big of a deal as it feels sometimes. Just be prepared to take deep breaths. Just be prepared that if things go wrong, like maybe you have backup plans in place, or maybe you have a support system of people who can help you and step in. Maybe you're going to be that support system for someone else. Maybe someone else is planning the holidays and you're just going to show up and support them in that. So whatever that looks like for you, I just want to encourage you that if you're newly married, you may be realizing how small things like sending digital Christmas cards or sending written Christmas cards, figuring out what to write inside of them can become opportunities to practice patience and unity in your marriage. So getting into the steps, this really isn't even about the card itself. I mean, yes, it's very special to send cards to people, but this is also about learning to work together with your spouse on these little things, learning to honor each other's opinions and build something beautiful side by side together. Now, maybe you're not doing this together, but I'm going to take this episode to assume that you want to at least try to do it together. So step 1 is to choose the right platform for your season. And so this is really like the tool you're going to use to design the Christmas card. So there's 2 ways you can do this. You can use a digital tool like Canva, Minted, Shutterfly, and use that tool to design a card and then have it printed off, or design the card and then send it digitally. And I know like Canva, for example, that's my favorite tool. They have their own print, or you can download that and upload it into a printer. Like sometimes even Myers and stuff will print this stuff, or like Office Max, I think it's called. There's different stores that'll like print it off for you, but you can design it, add your picture in it, all that sort of thing right on Canva, and then have it printed if you want to ship it, like send it snail mail, right? Or Canva has their own link. You can share a link just so people can view it and then not edit it. Obviously, you want to make sure you have the link settings changed to just view. So you can do it that way, or you can again just download it to your computer, and then take that download and put it into an email, or there's little like apps and softwares now for actually just like sending cards. That's a lot more beautiful than just uploading it into an email. But off the top of my head, I cannot think of any of them. I might come back and link it if I find it. Okay. And then digital is great if you're like trying to save money on postage, or maybe you don't have everyone's addresses, or you just really like need to do it quickly, right? Because it takes time and money to print and then put them into envelopes and write the notes and send them out. It takes less money and time to do it digitally, but you do get the benefit of like when you actually print it, write a handwritten little note in there, right? Like do the postage, the envelope, address to their name at their address. Like that just adds so much more specialness to it. So it really depends where you're at. For some people, like cards aren't a big deal to them. Whereas like I'm the type of person where, I don't throw my cards away. I keep like every single handwritten note, every single letter, every single card. Obviously I'm not keeping like bills and junk mail, but like if it was personal and it was something that someone wrote out to me, I keep that stuff because that's important to me to have that. So you just have to figure out what's going to be important to you. And then it's important, again, to just remember not to overcomplicate it, because the goal is connection, not perfection. So decide together what fits your life right now. Okay, and then tip number 2 is to infuse faith and personality into your wording. This is a step where you guys are going to decide together what you actually want to write into the card or type if you're doing this digitally. So you're going to want to include maybe a favorite Bible verse, maybe like Luke 2:14, Isaiah 9:6, or another one that's more relevant for you, or even just Christmas season. And then a short note of gratitude on God's faithfulness in your first Christmas together. You could give like a tiny update on how you guys are doing, or you could just keep it short and sweet and use like a little typical card mantra to go in there. I'll give you some examples of that. One is Merry Christmas from our home to yours, celebrating Jesus and the start of our marriage journey. Or, that might feel too cheesy for you. Obviously, you can reword these, but here's some other examples. Wishing you a cozy, joy-filled Christmas, grateful for you and the blessing you are in our lives. Merry Christmas. We're celebrating God's faithfulness in this first year of marriage, and we're so thankful for your love and support. Sending love from our home to yours, praying peace, joy, and his presence over your family this Christmas. Or first Christmas as Mr. and Mrs., feeling blessed and grateful, wishing you a beautiful Christmas season. Or you could say something that's a little more faith-focused, like, for unto us a child is born. May the peace and hope of Jesus fill your home this season. Merry Christmas from the Newlyweds. Or celebrating the birth of our Savior and the sweetness of our first Christmas together. Thank you for being a part of our story. Or praying your Christmas is full of his joy, comfort, and kindness. Grateful to have you in our lives this year. I could go on. There's a lot of examples. You could try to make this funny, like, first year married Christmas, we made it. Haha. Thankful for your love and support this year. Wishing you so much joy. Like, there's so many ways that you could go about playing with this, but I shall not go on because we could be here forever. Anyways, if you want more ideas, come over to the Facebook group. I'd be happy to pop some in there for you. But the key here is really to just decide together what you're going to say and then make that decision and plan it, right? So that you have it written down somewhere. So even if you're not ready to go sit down and create the cards right now, you know what you're going to put in them. Okay, and then tip 3 is to practice a basic mailing etiquette with a gracious heart. And I'm going to say, like, even if you're doing this digital, I feel like there is a little bit of a digital mailing etiquette these days that maybe isn't discussed. Like, I feel like we're not really taught etiquette about most things in this culture anymore. But I just personally, I like etiquette. I don't look at it as like a list of rules. I find it like a comforting guideline that makes sure everyone's being like respectful and honoring each other. And so I think it's really beautiful. And so I just went and I'm no etiquette expert by any means. I just want to say that up front. But I did a little bit of research on this so that I could bring it up for you guys and so I could know for my own self. And this is what I found, is that there is an etiquette of sending cards early around that first week of December to make sure they actually get to people before Christmas. And obviously you want to make sure that you're double checking spelling and addresses. If it's possible, leaving handwritten short notes in each card, even if you're doing it digitally, maybe like you're emailing it and you attach the card and the email, but then you leave like a short little personal note in the email, right? So like that's an example. Or maybe you're texting the cards and so you send the image of the card, but then you also leave like a personal note with it when you send it. And so it doesn't have to be long, but just having something personal, something that has their name in it, really makes people feel seen, especially like if in one conversation or one encounter or one letter, like you can say someone's name 3 times, like that really is a good thing to aim for. But in a card this short and a letter this short, that's probably not going to be very realistic. So aim to like say their name at least once, maybe twice. And with the physical cards, just having something in there that's handwritten just makes the card feel so much more personalized, so much more genuine. And again, those are the type of cards that I love to keep and just cherish for many, many years. So another point of this is etiquette is so important because it does show honor to your friends, your family, and the God who calls us to do things with excellence. And so even with these small acts of care, you can reflect the love and character of Christ within your marriage and to whoever you're mailing these cards to. So, just a couple things. You want to use clear, respectful addressing, including titles if you know them. So you could say things like the Johnson family, like just addressing their whole family with their last name, or Mr. and Mrs. David Carter is usually how you would address things, like using Mr. and Mrs. and then the man's full name, first and last name. And avoid just like mass labels if you can. I think it's fine when it's like your label, right? Like when some people get the stickers with like their name and address, and I think that's fine. But when you're writing out the other person's name and address, try to like, really write it out, make sure it seems personal. And then obviously if you're mailing these physical, you'll need stamps, and I don't really think like it's a big deal what kind of stamp you get, but I think it is cute and it adds like a personal touch when you get like a more like Christmassy themed stamp. Personally, we don't do Santa Claus in our house. We just focus on Jesus. And so we wouldn't like get a Santa Claus stamp, but I might like if they had one with stars on it, I might get a star because like Jesus was born under the star, or like, things like that to just kind of be symbolic of the Christmas season. And I think another point here that I didn't really mention before is just to be thoughtful about like even the photo choice for the card of like, okay, what do we want to portray with the image we choose of us? And it doesn't even have to be like some big thing. Like now most of the modern phones have really good cameras, and if you can just prop it up or get like a phone stand with a little clicker remote, like you can take your own photo if you're not planning to get professional photos, and just kind of maybe curate your own background, or like curate your outfits in a way that just shows like warmth and invitation. There is like even like a color psychology to how your clothing and the way that you dress like affects other people's moods and makes them think and feel about you, I guess, when they look at you because you're wearing the clothes. They don't usually differentiate in their mind, like, right, if it's the clothes or you, right? Like no one's thinking that when they look at you. So that's something to consider as well. Okay, so now I've gone down into the nitty gritty, maybe even more than you needed. So if you do have any other questions, again, come to the Facebook group. But I just want to say that a little bonus tip here is that you could turn this into a mini date night. So you could play Christmas music or worship music, make cocoa, work on cards together. And moments like these become little traditions that can strengthen your bond and bring you guys closer together through the holidays, maybe even make it more connecting instead of stressful. So you guys really will have to talk this through together and decide what's going to be a good fit for you in this holiday season. But I hope that this has been a blessing to you. And just real quick before we hop off, I want you to notice right now in your mind, just take a second, even close your eyes if you're not driving or doing something that requires vision, and ask yourself, what is the pattern that you notice? Do you tend to take charge, or do you avoid small projects like this altogether? What's one small step you can take to make this a shared, joy-filled experience instead of a stressful one? As always, all the links and resources mentioned today will be in the show notes below. And I would love to see you guys come share your biggest takeaways or even a photo of your first Christmas card inside our Facebook group. We would love to celebrate with you and tell you how beautiful they look. And I just want to say thanks for listening, and remember that you are not alone in this journey, in being newlywed, in marriage in general. So We're here to support you, and I hope you'll come back for another episode. And if this was valuable to you, if you took away something today, then I would just ask that you would take the time to go and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, because that helps us get the podcast out to more listeners, to more people who need this information. And so if it bless you, it might bless someone else, and you can help share it by leaving a review and maybe even texting this episode to a friend. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you got so much value out of it. And if you loved this episode, could you do me a quick favor and click 5 stars and leave me a review? It would do wonders for spreading the podcast out to other people who need it, and it only takes a few seconds. If you have an additional few seconds, why don't you go ahead and screenshot the episode and share it to your stories so we can spread the message and get more families healed. Thank you, and until next time, I will be praying for you, and I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.